Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Beyond Metal. This is my inspirational series that I just recently started here, and I just changed the name of it. I'll talk more about that at the end of the video, but right now I want us to go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes, now I'm kind of hungry, of this video. And there's 3 questions that I want you to ask yourself throughout this video, and I really want to challenge you to be honest with yourself when you answer these questions. And these are things that can allow you to just skyrocket and push yourself forward in pursuing what you want to do with your life, or they can hold you back, keep you down, and you'll stay right where you're at. You'll never even pass go. Number 1 question I want you to ask yourself, and again, please be honest with yourself. This is for your benefit. Are you the type of person that tends to always focus on what you don't have versus what you already have? And I'm gonna give you 2 examples here. So one is kind of a common thing. Let's just say, for example, you go to your friend's house, or maybe it's a friend of a friend, whatever, and you notice they live in this huge house in this nice gated area. They've got expensive cars in the driveway. Everything's just immaculate. And you're like, the first question that comes to mind is, man, what do they do for a living? Because I'm doing something totally wrong here. These people have it, and I'm not even anywhere close to that. Now, I am not saying there's anything wrong with that, so please don't get me wrong. It's not about that. This is about you and your mentality and what you're focusing on, because when we focus on, let's just say, that scenario, it kind of brings us down to look at the things that we don't have. And instead of focusing on what we do have, we start thinking, well, I only have this. And we start thinking in our head that that's not enough. Now, one more example. I know a lot of you watching this are musicians, and we all have this capability to record music in our home studio thanks to modern technology. It's pretty awesome. But how many times, and I'm so guilty of this, have you held yourself back from putting that song out there, or performing a project for someone else, or doing some sort of music release because you didn't feel like you had the appropriate gear? You're like, I would do that if only I had this. Again, I'm guilty of this, but let me take you back to a story. 2013, I released my very first album. I actually released it on a tiny little shoestring budget. I had a mid-grade laptop, very cheap interface, and just really purely basic gears. How could you record an album with just this when you look at these other studios that have tens and thousands of dollars worth of gear, and you're like, wow, there's no way I can compete with that. Here's the thing. I almost held my first album back for that very reason. I kept looking at my studio situation. I'm like, maybe I should just put this project on hold until I get a better this or better that, or fill in the blank. Doesn't matter. I'm not discounting the fact that, yeah, you do need some kind of foundation before you just put something out there. But I'll be honest with you guys, oftentimes, if you look around at the things you have and focus on what you have, you've got what it takes. It's almost like that Van Halen song, it's got what it takes. So tell me, why can't this be love? Now, here's another interesting fact. The little bit of gear that I had, the software, the interface, and all that, really inexpensive, I honestly probably only knew how to use 20% of it. So my point to that is, instead of focusing on the things that you don't have, focus on what you do have, take it to the next level, and master what you have. Because later, as I learned more about the cheaper gear, or the less expensive gear that I had, I later found out, it's like, wow, I really didn't need to upgrade this, and that. What I spent more money on later, thinking I needed it. I had everything I needed at that point in time, not only to produce the album that I did, but to do far greater than that. And I didn't even realize it. So focus on what you have. And back to the big house and all that. If you really think about it, do you want that electric bill? Do you want that mortgage payment? Do you want to have to hire a maid to clean 5,000 square feet? I don't know. Again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but be grateful for what you have and where you're at in your life right now, as long as you're pushing forward and pursuing that thing that you know you need to pursue with your life. If you're doing that, I truly believe everything else will come into place as it should. if you're pushing forward and just pressing forward, not worried about what you don't have, but focused on what you have and building something great out of what you have right now and, of course, what's in here. Number 2 is very similar to what we just discussed because it has to deal with where your focus is, okay? And this next question I want you to ask yourself and be brutally honest with yourself is, are you the kind of person that focuses on the things in life that you can't control, like the weather, like somebody else's attitude? Could be a number of things, but the things you can't control, do you focus on that? Do you get angry about that stuff? Do you dwell on that and let that hold you back? Or do you tend to focus on the things that you can control, which really is you and how you react and the way you think, the way you choose to perceive the world and the things that are happening around you? Let's say, for example, that your band has this gig. It's an outdoor gig. It's at this festival, and your band, you've been waiting to play this gig for a long time now. It's been booked forever. The weather's good. Everything's going great. And then all of a sudden, an hour before the gig, just this torrential downpour and storms come your way, and the gig gets canceled. So yeah, you're pissed off at the weather girl, the weatherman, or whoever. You're pissed off at the weather itself, and then everything else is pissing you off at that point too. You're focusing on something that you cannot control. Now, let's say you choose to get over that. Again, this is your choice. You choose not to get pissed off. You know what? That's that. I can't control it, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to control my attitude towards this event, and I'm going to control the way I react and how, more importantly, I move forward. So instead of getting pissed off at the rain and like, what do we do now? Let's just go, get hammered and forget about it. Instead, you say, band, let's get together. Let's have a songwriting session. Hey, who knows? You may write a song that day together that hits the charts 6 months down the road, and you'll look back, it's like, man, I'm glad I didn't get pissed off and, react poorly to that event that got canceled. I'm glad instead we chose to react in a positive way that's going to benefit us. We found opportunity in an unopportune moment. Now, I'm going to take this a little bit deeper here, guys. I'm going to tug on the heartstrings a little here because I think all of us have been through bad relationships before, and unfortunately some of you may be going through that now. And maybe the person is always degrading you all the time. They're always putting you down. They're always, putting you last. You're pouring into that relationship. You're giving 100% of yourself and 100% of your love, and they may be giving 10% if you're lucky on a good day. But they're just always making you feel like you're not good enough, and it's just toxic. Understand that that's another situation that you cannot control. You cannot control someone else's feelings, their emotions, their behavior. You can't change who they are as a person. As good of a person you may be, you cannot change that person. That is out of your control. What you can control is you. What you can control is how you react. And this may be one of those moments where you have to act quickly and rip off the Band-Aid, like right now, and do yourself that favor. And again, focus on what you can control, your attitude, the way you react, and just not worry about the stuff you can't control. There's no point. Number 3, this is a big one, and this is something that I have often struggled with over the years. And I'll be honest, I still struggle with this. Even today, sometimes I catch myself, none of us are perfect. I am not exempt from the crappy things that happen in life and getting upset when I shouldn't and that sort of thing. But number 3, I want you to ask yourself this question, and this is a deep one. When things happen in life that they may be out of your control, or it may be something that's just really crappy that happens, are you the type of person that you say, well, life's just out to get me? Or maybe you're a religious person who's like, well, God's punishing me for this, or the universe is punishing me, or the devil's punishing me, whatever you believe. Life is just against me and it's holding me back. It does not want me to succeed, and I'm just stuck here. The question I want you to ask yourself is, do you see life that way? Do you sometimes perceive it as the universe or the world or God or whoever is just out to get you and punishing you and just going to hold you down? Or do you turn it around and say, you know what? This thing is happening to me right now. Where's the opportunity in it though? How can I make this beneficial to me, or maybe how can I make this beneficial to others, and how can I find some kind of value to give from what's going on right now? Where's the opportunity? And this is something I learned as an entrepreneur, and I am by no means some huge successful entrepreneur. I think most people pretend to be that on Instagram and Facebook or whatever, but anyway, when negative things happen in life, when everybody else is freaking out, the entrepreneur is saying, oh, here's an opportunity. They're able to just push their emotions out of the way. And I'm not saying emotions are a bad thing, but in this case, they are. They're able to push their emotions out of the way and say, okay, there it is. That's that opportunity. Boom, got it, I'm going for it. And that's my challenge to you. And again, like I said before, I have struggled with this. There's been many times throughout my own life where things were just happening or not happening rather. You know, I'm pushing for something, pursuing something, and I just keep getting knocked down. Now, a lot of times it was just bad decision making on my part. Hey, if sometimes bad things are happening to you as a result of your poor decisions, but that's not always the case. Sometimes, you know, life can just suck. Crappy things happen. But I want to challenge you to look beyond that, pull your emotions out of that, and I want you to look for opportunities within those storms, within those crisis moments, because they're there. And this is that time when you can really come up with some amazing ideas if you choose not to have that attitude as God's punishing me or the universe is just out to get me. Because if you have that attitude, guess what? I promise you, you will not even pass go. You will not even get started enough to quit, okay? You will be right there in the mud, just stuck there as long as you have that mentality. This is an extremely toxic mentality to have. So I challenge you to look for those opportunities. You have to pull your emotions out of this. That's the first thing you have to do. Pull your emotions, put those to the side, and just look, okay, this sucks, but where's the opportunity? And then those wheels will start turning, and you will find a way to get through that. And oftentimes, if you really push hard enough, you'll find a way to make that situation into just an awesome situation for you. It's happened, and I've seen it in my own life. But again, you have to kill that mentality of the world's out to get you and out to punish you. It's not. Guys, I truly hope this video inspired you. That's why I'm doing this. This is a series that I recently started, and it started out of just this really deep yearning inside me to just give something back, and especially to my metalhead community here. You know, you guys know me as an independent heavy metal musician, so a lot of what I provide to you guys is content based on music, which I'm always going to do that, but I just really had this thing deep inside my heart to share these things. And a lot of times I'll share my failures with you as well. And the reason for that is because, you know, I've been through some rocky roads in life, and not the Rocky Road ice cream, because that's a good rocky road. But I've been through some trying times in life, and honestly, a lot of them, you know, if I'm honest with myself, it was because I made some stupid decisions, you know, and that's usually the case with most of us. And when you go through those times and you're trying to come out of them, sometimes because of decisions you've made in the past, life is just that much more difficult for you. And I think we all face these things in life, and I really want to help you guys. If you can learn from some of my mistakes, then that helps you, and the world's a little bit better place, because I truly believe if we are striving to be better ourselves and striving to pursue, more importantly, to pursue the thing that we really feel like we were called to do on this earth. I think every one of you have a unique calling, and a lot of you know what that is. A lot of you, if you really sit back and think about it, it's like, yeah, that's what I need to be doing. And if that's you, I encourage you to start doing that now if you're not already. Now, maybe you don't have that deep calling or whatever, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but it may just be that you're just working on yourself and becoming just a better version of yourself each and every day. And maybe you find something that you can support that you believe in, and that's just as good. So I encourage you to do those things. Now, going back to the name change, I got sidetracked here, which happens quite often. I changed the name because it was too long. I was first calling this Metal Inspiration and Motivation, and that was just too much of a tongue twister. It's like, what's the name of that again? So I changed it to Beyond Metal. And the other reason for that is because I want to give you something beyond just metal music. I mean, metal's great. We love it. It's our thing. It's part of who we are. But I wanted to give you something just deeper than that. So here you have it. This is called Beyond Metal, and that's what I'll be naming this series here. So I actually have a playlist of these types of videos here. If you're watching this on YouTube, there will be a playlist. I'll put it towards the end of the video. Guys, please give this video a thumbs up. That really helps my channel. Also, don't forget to check out the links in the description of this video. I have links going to my music, and I'm always giving away free stuff. You'll find some other things down there. So just check those out in the YouTube description there. That really helps me out a lot, and I appreciate that. Guys, thank you again for your support. Until the next video, as always, keep it metal.